Let's Achieve Change is a podcast by Pamela Grove, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Pain and Movement Specialist of Metanoia Education and Wellness Center. My goal is to make you aware of various health and wellness topics. Every 2 weeks, Let's Achieve Change will appear with episodes with various topics with interviews and narratives, especially as it pertains to health and wellness and chronic pain and disability. I propose to be the voice for those silent sufferers out there. If you'd like to learn more about Let's Achieve Change or Metanoia Education Wellness Center, please visit our website at changeachieve.com. Hello, thank you for joining me today on Let's Achieve Change. I'm Pamela Grove, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Pain and Movement Specialist of Metanoia Education and Wellness Center. Listen, if you want to make some changes, you have tuned into the right podcast. Now listen, don't forget to hit that notification button so that you can subscribe and you won't miss any future episodes on some changes you might want to make. Welcome back, everyone. It is episode 10. Yes, episode 10. So we're going to be wrapping up our series on the caregivers behind the chronic pain and or disability sufferers. So listen, no matter who you are or where you are, it seems to be universal that we often, as caregivers, begin to neglect our own health, serving as caregivers, okay? So before I bring on my special guest tonight, I'm going to first talk about respite, okay? What is respite? It's a simple word, comes from the source of respect, and it just simply means to take a short-term break. So whether you go on a hobby, you do a hobby, go shopping, or you just want some time alone, or you take a couple of weeks to go on a vacation, right? So the studies have shown that there are several reasons why people may not take or utilize respite care. I'm going to talk about 3. So one is they just may not feel that they know anyone that they can trust, okay? Number 2, they just might feel just guilty about taking some time to enjoy themselves, you know. Number 3, financial burden. It is expensive if you're going to have to utilize a service or a facility. And guess what? Insurances don't cover it because they don't think it's medically necessary. Okay. So I am excited today because I'm going to have guests come on and she's going to be able to provide us some ways to seek respite care after she tells me a little bit more about who she is and her story. Hello there. Tonight, we're so excited because we have Robin Dill with us today. She goes by a Congregational Respite Director. I think I said it all right. As well as she is a mentor and she's an author of, and we're going to get her to expand on more of what she does and why she does what she does. I'm so honored to have her in my presence today. We're doing this segment on caregivers, and I think she comes very highly qualified to talk to us about this. So Robin, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit more. What is your position of that?
What do I do? That's a really good question. Where's my identity? First, I'm a child of Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
I am a believer and I love the Lord, and everything that I do is to his glory.
Amen.
I want to say that first.
Amen.
I have been on about a 22-year journey, Pam,
okay,
that began with my mom's diagnosis of lung cancer that metastasized to brain cancer.
Wow. Yeah.
And my chatty, engaging mom pretty much went silent on us. And it was my beginning of understanding a tiny bit of what dementia was all about. Then after mom was in the process of dying, my husband got stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
And so I found myself being an in-home caregiver as well as a long-distance caregiver to mom, who was about 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I also had gotten a call from the Lord about coming alongside people in crisis.
Wow.
And that happened in the ICU waiting room with Mom when she had her first surgery, her lung cancer surgery.
Okay.
And I sat on that call for a little bit until we moved to Georgia.
Okay.
And when we moved to Georgia, Mom was becoming silent. I was concerned about her. And I was asking the Lord, what do you want me to do? And he reminded me of that call. And so I contacted the local hospital that we had in our town to see if they had any kind of prayer ministry.
Okay.
And so that began the journey of me becoming a Stephen minister. Going through that training, which is a laity training, people with crisis care skills. And I began to do pastoral care at a couple of hospitals.
Let's go back to that because I'm not familiar with that. And I'm quite sure a lot of the listeners aren't with that. So basically, that position is pretty much someone goes to the hospital, they see different people, and they pray with them when they're going through a crisis. Is that pretty much what that position?
Well, actually, a Stephen minister, that came about through a pastor in St. Louis who was overwhelmed with the needs of his congregation. And he began to train lay members on how to come alongside people in crisis. And it is a 52-hour, I think, course. And it is intense. You learn about just all kinds of ways to communicate and listen. How you find resources. And you become a caregiver in a sense to a care receiver, and you're coming alongside them in crisis. So it originally was within the church, but the chaplain at the hospital that I served at loved that training so much. He wanted all of his pastoral care team to go through that because basically every time you walk in a hospital room, you're coming into a person's crisis situation.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So, it taught me to listen. They were tools that I could use later as God opened the door for respite ministry.
Okay.
So
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to make sure your understanding of that position. And because before we end today, I want you to share with people how they can get in touch with you. But as well, if someone wanted to do that as well,
and that is, and Stephen ministry is all over the world, which is fascinating and lots of different. It's not a specific denomination, and it's a great asset to a church community.
Good job.
So anyway, I did pastoral care for a couple of years. Tom went through, my husband, through cancer, chemo, major surgery, and God healed him. That was 20 years ago.
Wow.
And in the process, Tom's healing mom passed away in 2005. And I am working at this little bitty church asking the Lord, what do you want me to be doing? Because I was at a little church as a church secretary at a church that was in crisis. And I was given this job because of me being a Stephen minister. And so I was praying through, Lord, do you want me to go to seminary to become a pastoral care minister at a hospital? Well, this ad popped up in the Atlanta Journal for a church in Lawrenceville that wanted to start an adult day program for people with dementia.
Wow.
Just walk that journey with Mom.
Goodness.
And so I began to pray, and I went through 3 interviews. And in 2005, in June, I started as the director of the respite ministry. We opened up in August, and I served that church for almost 13 years.
Wow.
Stepped down in 2018. but it was an amazing journey. It was a threefold ministry.
Okay.
Helping caregivers get a break. Respite means a break.
Yeah.
So
And we're
this
gonna,
was,
not to interrupt you, but I need to come back to that quite a bit because that's what I'm getting from a lot of people.
yes.
That they're overwhelmed and they don't know what to do in that area. So remind us, we've got to come back to that. So go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, so that's what I did. I had a whole bunch of volunteers, about 45 volunteers. We became a 4-day-a-week program.
Wow. Okay.
And folks with dementia would come to our church for a 5-hour-a-day program.
Wow.
We did all kinds of activities and engaged them while the caregiver had a much needed break.
Yes. Yes. Oh, what an awesome ministry.
And then the third part of it was all the older adults that volunteered in the ministry, Pam. So it was for them to use their spiritual gifts and talents and serve. And I say older adults, we had younger adults serving in the ministry as well.
Okay.
So that has been a big part of my journey since 2005, almost 20 years.
Wow.
I have. And when I stepped down, I had begun to help other churches get programs started.
Okay.
Wrote a couple of books on how to do that. And so now that's what I'm doing is I'm training churches. I'm walking beside caregivers. I lead a caregiver support group. I did the dealing with dementia training for the Rosalind Carter Institute.
Okay.
And in 2019, I traveled the state of Georgia doing these workshops for caregivers. So I probably met that year 250 to 300 caregivers.
Okay. So basically, when you went from state to state and you went to these different locations, you pretty much got them all set up so that they knew then what to do in their own area.
Exactly. I visioned. I would go in the church and I would have a time where I would vision. I just have started with a church in Savannah. And so a Sunday morning, I went in and talked about what a congregational respite ministry looked like. And then I have been meeting with their committee on Zoom and coaching the new director. And I'll be going in January to do training for them. And it's amazing.
So pretty much, and like I said, this is all new to me as well. So pretty much a lot of churches don't have this type of ministry going on. That's it. No. That's the whole thing. Wow.
That's right. And I went up in 2019 to a little bitty church in Cairo, New York. Up in the Catskills. Little Lutheran church. It had everything at that church.
Wow.
It had a daycare center. It had a food bank. And now it has a congregational respite ministry.
Wow.
And the pastor has told people all over the United States, every church needs to have a respite ministry.
Oh, definitely so. Yeah.
Caregivers need a break. We need to come along these folks and do that.
Wow. Girl, you have no idea what you have opened up.
It's been, I just, to God be the glory.
Yeah.
He's done.
Because like I said, that's what, and I'm so happy that I got your name because I get that so much from people like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I have anybody call, no family members or some family members not involved.
That's right.
And it's all to this one child to do everything. And this is, I want us to really get this information out. I'm so excited about this because I think this is what is lacking in a lot of churches and a lot of communities. You know what I mean?
I was on the Georgia Alzheimer's and related dementia task force when they first started. A Congressman, Senator Renee Unterman started this, and it is continued. But the number one buzzword from that task force was respite, that caregivers needed a break. And whether, Pam, it's a couple of hours to be able to go to the doctor, go walk around Home Depot,
Right.
go walk in the park? Or is it a weekend, a couple of weeks respite
Right.
at a
Right.
facility?
Right.
There's so much that our caregivers are just overwhelmed and isolated. It's such an arduous journey,
Oh my God, yes.
isolating journey that they're on.
Say that. Oh my God. And like I said, not to I haven't told my story yet about my call with my daughter, and she's on another location, but basically I still serve in that capacity to make sure she has this in place, advocating for her and just making sure financially things are in place. And I tell you, it's back and forth. And it is very, people say, I don't know how you stay so calm. I said, oh, only God, only God, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But it
That's
takes
right.
a toll on you. And I can only imagine someone who's with that person all day long, every day.
All day, all night. And
Yes.
often in our support group, what I will say to the caregivers is, you have the most important part of your care team that's with you 24/7, the Holy Spirit.
Amen. Amen.
And we often don't tap into that power that is there for the taking. There's wisdom, there's strength, there's knowledge, there is the fruit of the Spirit that can come out that on days that your loved one is driving you bananas.
I'm telling you, yes.
You tap into the Spirit to be able to be kind and listen. And it's
even how to be firm too.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to be firm, and that's something that people don't know how to do rightly, I should say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that even also is a skill that, that needs to be tapped into too. That God gives you the wisdom of knowing when to do what and when and how or whatever.
Right. Right.
So basically, and I don't want to interrupt because you're just so knowledgeable, but I just want to make sure that we're zeroing in, because I got to get people to make sure they know this stuff, because we need to help people. We need to make some changes, and I think this is another way to do it. And what I'm hearing, you're saying a lot about dementia, but see, I'm coming from the perspective of chronic pain and disabilities.
Yep.
So these patients are also being cared for by caregivers.
That's right. And those caregivers still need respite. And Pam, one other thing that I discovered as I directed this ministry was the great need to know where the resources are in the community.
Yeah.
Whenever I go into a new community, like that year that I did all that training around the state of Georgia, I wanted to zero in on, okay, where are the resources that somebody living in this rural area of Georgia could find? Where are the neurologists? Is there a memory assessment clinic there? Is there respite? Is there day programs? Are there resource libraries available? Where are the counselors? Where are the support groups?
So do you get like a listing that you have compiled for different areas as you go in those areas? And
I did. I sure did. I tried to contact, I tell you, one of the great resources that we have in the Atlanta area is, especially for folks as they're aging, is our area agencies on aging. They have a wealth of knowledge about different resources for grandparents caring for grandkids, for the dementia component, for those that are on Medicaid. They do Medicare training. There's just incredible resources that they can put you in touch with. And then they have this huge search engine through the Atlanta Regional Commission called Empower Line. You can either talk to somebody or you could go online and type in what you're looking for, and it'll give you this big old long list of resources that can help you.
So, since I know you don't have all these different cities out there, but pretty much you think most cities are set up that way? Pretty much?
Probably not.
Okay.
The bigger cities tend to have, now the state
Okay.
is broken up into regions.
Okay.
And so different counties are in different regions. So like down in Savannah, they have a whole area agency on aging down there, up in the mountains. Yeah. So
Okay, I got you.
Georgia,
I got
they
you.
have those kind of resources. Absolutely. And they could be a starting spot.
Yeah. Oh, definitely so. Yeah.
To say, okay, I'm looking for this, and I may not be an older adult, but would you have any information about this?
Okay.
And
Yeah. I think that's good. That's good information to get people at least get started that way. Some kind of way to get them going there. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I find, and I don't know if you've ever been in a support group or not, but
I have not. No, I have not.
well, I find that the support group that I'm in, I lead, and I say lead, they're all in it together. It is a group of people sharing ideas, sharing experiences. One lady said, it's where we come and dump our buckets, leave a little bit lighter.
Okay. That's a good
But
one.
it's also an educational time to talk about. Situations come up. Well, let's talk about it, and let's think about how we could respond to something like this.
Okay.
And I mean, we get everything. We get behavior, but we get medical situations. It's pretty incredible.
Okay. So what I'm getting is we're going to tap into resources. We're going to get that on the table. We're going to get people trying to get more involved in some type of local support groups. We're going to get
Absolutely.
that going.
Education. Pam, I don't care who you're caring for. You got to be educated.
Yeah.
And that was my big question when a caregiver would call me up and say, hey, I've heard about your program. My first question after finding out about their loved one was, how are you educating yourself? And that was telling, because if somebody said, oh, we're just getting by, I knew they were going to be a sinking ship.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to be knowledgeable. You've got to educate.
Well, you can't even advocate for them if you're not educated about the whole process yourself. And that's what I tell people. And I tell them, too, that that's their right. A lot of people don't realize that's their right.
That's right. That's exactly
to know
right.
that information to be able to do that. So, yeah, you're right. Education is key. Yeah, education is key.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I'm going to make summaries here. So the best advice is, okay, we're going to tap into the Holy Spirit. Some people don't have any idea how to do that, and some people don't believe in that. So we can't really, we can't force religion on anyone, but
that's right.
We got people to understand that is something that's out there for those who seek to know more spiritual and intuitiveness. Okay, for lack of a better word, spiritual discernment. Okay. Spiritual wisdom, spiritual understanding, how that can just carry over into what they're doing daily. Okay. So, and we want to make sure that that's out there. People can know that that's something they can do. Okay. Secondly, we're going to make sure that we're going to leave resources today. We're going to leave information on how to probably start with maybe your area aging or whatever like that. Okay. We're going to advocate. So in order for us to advocate, we have to educate. You have to be educated.
Yeah. So
we're going to strongly say to people, look, it's okay for you to find out about this information about your loved one. Okay.
Right.
It's your right to know this information. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the big one I got, which I think is very vital. I don't want to run out of time, so I'm trying to make sure that we, is how to get these things started in a lot of communities and a lot of churches. This respite.
Yeah.
In these areas, because I think that is a big one right there.
It's a big one. And it could be in lots of different formats. It could be, so my wheelhouse has been dementia. So this is in the dementia realm. It's having a congregational respite ministry that you do a couple of days a week, or a memory cafe. That's one of the things that our area agencies on agings, our dementia specialists are starting this year, is in each of the areas that they're in charge of, they're going to open a memory cafe. So I'm helping with the Northeast Georgia region to start a memory cafe in Athens. And this is for a care partner and their loved one to come to a place and just socialize and do fun activities for a couple of hours. It's not a drop off. I'm not dropping my loved one off in the care of people. I'm attending with them. So I'm socializing with other caregivers. My loved one is socializing with other people with dementia. And we're doing activities and education and conversation for all of us. And it's a really neat concept. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's a neat concept. Yeah.
Yeah, that has been.
So you haven't tested the waters on that yet? Not quite.
Well, there are some memory cafes in Georgia that are up and going that aren't related to the area agencies on aging. But the one in Athens is going to launch in November.
Wow.
November the 4th.
Okay.
And it's going to be at the old mall.
Okay.
Right there in Athens off of 78 and 10. I think that's 10 and 78.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. Okay.
But they have, Northeast Georgia has a great dementia specialist. She is just incredible, and she's doing super work. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's kind of change a little bit now. We'll talk about your title. We talk about everything you've done, which is so much information. But now I'm going to hit you personally. I want to turn it around to you personally, because you've gone through the caregiver perspective as you personally. So I'm going to say to you, what did you think you've learned as being a caregiver that maybe you didn't think you had learned? Or I think this question is so pertinent because it helps people to really kind of analyze, what did I learn? Let's do your mom first, because she's going on. So what did you learn, you think, probably the biggest 3 things you think you've learned from that experience?
Oh, I learned what I didn't know with mom, because I had not been through any educational training. And I was already in crisis because Tom was dealing with stage 4 cancer. Mom, what was fascinating, Pam, was I knew something was wrong with mom. God's given me the gift of discernment. And I knew a year before she was diagnosed with a brain tumor, something was wrong, because her cognitive function had declined. And I didn't even know what dementia was at that time, but I knew mom wasn't processing correctly. She was getting lost. She was having falls, and a doctor diagnosed her with Alzheimer's disease without doing a scan on a woman who was a cancer survivor. So that was one thing I learned is you have got to advocate for yourself. The medical community, you've got to be assertively advocating for yourself and for your loved ones. So that was probably the big thing with mom, was that.
Do you feel as if you got to, sometimes I think people regret they don't get to say the things they wish they could have said. Do you think there was some things that you think you wish you could have said, or do you think you feel like you emptied your bucket with that? What do you think?
It's funny that you asked this. So one of my educational components that I've done in this time period is to get a certificate in gerontology. And out of that class, I got a book called The 4 Things That Matter Most. It's finding closure in your relationships. And it's, thank you, I love you, please forgive me, I forgive you. I didn't know about that with mom, but I felt like I had opportunities to say the things, maybe not in that formal framing of that. So
I'm like that. So for those 4 things, I wrote those things down because That is, oh my God, that's so awesome right there.
It's awesome. I have taken my caregivers, my volunteers through that book. Stephen ministers through that book. It's an amazing book.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's probably what I learned,
Which is awesome.
with Mom.
Significant. Okay.
Then with Tom, it was being assertive. Being assertive with the medical community and not caring if they fuss at you about being
whatever. Yeah.
You know, because Tom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. We were going to MD Anderson, and our surgeon locally was dragging his heels on getting things to MD Anderson. So I was calling them, and I got a call from the doctor one day, and he said, "Quit harassing my staff." And I said, "Doctor, whoever his name was, I hope your spouse never has stage 4 cancer.
Thank you.
But if she does, you're going to be doing the same thing that I'm doing."
Oh,
right?
yeah. Right.
So,
yeah. I agree with that full-heartedly. My daughter has gotten mad at me sometimes. She goes, "Mom, you need to calm down." I said, "No, I don't need to calm down."
Yeah.
I said, "I'm telling you," I said, "this is my daughter. I love her, and this is what she's going through. And I don't think she's communicating to you guys what she's going through. So I need to communicate to you guys what she's going through." So no, I really feel that assertiveness is so vital. You know,
not disrespectful,
not disrespectful,
not aggressive.
No,
assertive.
It's assertive. Being able to that, because I think people, they take it for granted. You know what? Because they're looking maybe at a closed container here, okay, and they see so many people, and so they really don't look at that person individually. Hey, this is what's going on with this person. Open up here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, we're gonna get ready to run out of time. So I want to ask you to say one more thing for me. This is people think this question may be morbid, but I think it says a lot about you if I ask this question. So if you have to have an epitaph, okay? Because if I had to make a chapter on you, Robin, if you were no longer here and somebody heard these words or they saw this, but my brother, I keep saying over and over again, he's gone on, but I love that man dearly. He always said, "Grace and peace, dear ones." And he always said, "It's just nice to be nice." So if you heard that, you knew it was Bishop Darrell Brundage, or you knew that was by him. Me, I say all the time, it is what it is. I say that one all the time. So what would you say that people would remember about what Robin said? What would stand out for Robin?
How can I pray for you?
How can I pray for you? I like that.
Prayer has been a huge part of my life. And even today, I'm in the drive-through line at the coffee, and the girl is telling me she's had a hard day, and she's telling me her stuff. And I said, "Can I pray for you?" Maybe it's, "Can I pray for you?" Not "How can I?" but "Can I
pray for you?" I like that. I got that. I wrote that down. That's yours.
That's me.
Oh, that says a lot. Bless you, darling. Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Oh, listen, Pam, to God be the glory. We hadn't even gotten into the weeds about hospice.
I know, it's just so much.
There are so many things that, and I'm excited about this podcast because I feel like you can touch on so many, and have me back again. I'd love to come back.
Oh, I will.
We talk about something else, but there's so many layers.
Would you do me a favor? Would you do me a favor? Because I need help in that area. Because sometimes I get overwhelmed too. So send me a little list of Pam. Pam, you know what? You mentioned hospice. So I wrote that down.
Yeah, I'll send you a list of some things that maybe talk about.
Yeah, and we will probably every few weeks. I'll say, come back. Let's do this one now. You know, let's do this now. I would love to have you back. I would love to have you back. I really would. So
thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Fast story. One night, really hard support group, and God gave me 31 days of a devotion. So I've written a devotion book called Words of Strength for Caregivers. And that has been, it's not published on Amazon. You get it from me, but I love to put that in the hands of people. And it, it's
can you leave your information really quickly? Because we're getting ready to sign off. How can they get to you?
Okay. You can get to me. I've got a blog, but you can also just reach me at my email, Robin, ROBIN .Dill @Comcast.net.
Okay, so Robin.Dill @Comcast.net.
I have a WordPress blog that has a lot of my resources on it, and it's Walking with Grace.
Sounds good. We're going to sign off, my dear. Thank you. Okay, bless you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you. Okay.
Okey-doke. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Well, in conclusion, thank you, Robin. Thank you so in conclusion, guess what? We all need some respite, right? We all can use respite. So let's let the guilt go. Let's just let the guilt go. Okay. Remember, if we're not healthy, then we're not able to give to anyone else properly, right? I'm so thankful for former guests who was on the other caregiver series of Darlene, Carol, Alicia, Crystal, and today Robin, of course, because they all came on. They were vulnerable. They were honest. They were able to share their experiences. And I feel as if we were able to gain some more insight into what others are going through or what they are still going through, right? I'm still so very excited and grateful to Robin because she is going to open up herself for more time to those out there to give more resources. So let's take advantage of this. She's offering it, guys. Okay. So to learn more about Robin, you can Google her at Robin Dill, Dill, Robin, ROBIN, blog, BLOG. Or you can contact her directly at Robin, ROBIN .Dill, DILL, at Comcast.net. And look, if you don't need the resources, feel free to share with somebody else because I know there are somebody out there who is a caregiver who may become a caregiver. They never know who can use these resources. Well, until next time, everyone, let's achieve change. Thank you for tuning in today at Let's Achieve Change. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You will find out more about Metanoia Education and Wellness Center on our website at changeachieve.com. We welcome your questions and your feedback. Please feel free to fill out the form on the website and we will contact you directly. I pray that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Remember, it's all about the change. Thank you.